anyways and say congratulations for taking time out of your day and being serious enough about your business of being with us here on the Founders Webinar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the Founders Webinar over to our founder, Mr. Bob Snyder. Now, before doing so, Bob, as always, I just want to say how appreciative I am and appreciative how appreciative the entire field is for what you've put in place here. We love you, Bob. We appreciate you, and I'm going to turn the rest of this call right over to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, as always, Christian. You do such a great job every single Monday night. I am just thrilled to have you here and know that I can always count on you to take care of introductions and welcome our people from all across the nation. I'll tell you what, you're not going to be disappointed tonight. We've got a absolutely amazing training plan for you. But before we get into that, as usual, we've got a few weekly announcements, a few reminders, something that we've been certainly, talking about each and every week, one of which is, well, how are things stacking up on the 5-Star Winner Circle Contest Leaders Board? Because every week I give you an update so that I can show you how, well, the top 5 has a tendency to shift and change a little bit. It certainly did that again this last week. So let's do the countdown, shall we? In the number 5 position, Gene Powers. Gene Powers has slipped into the number 5 position because in the 4th spot, well, that's John Ferguson Jr., who jumped into the number 4 spot there. Richard Stock is holding firmly in 3rd, Bob Tierney in 2nd, and as usual, Scott and Nancy Rowe are out there in the number 1 spot right now. So if the contest were to end today, that's how it would line up. But the good news is there's still plenty of time to go because we run this contest each year from national conference to national conference. So we've got a lot to look forward to, folks, and we'll just give you a play-by-play each week so that you can get a feel for how things are shaping up. Well, that's a 5-Star Winner Circle contest. What else? Hey, just another reminder, don't post your checks online. I think I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but I definitely want to make the impression. We need to ensure that our account information is protected and that it isn't shared so that we don't run into issues like we have already 2 times this year with our accounts being compromised and then having to make those adjustments at the bank. So please, you can really, really help me by enrolling in our direct deposit program. That's right, direct deposit is available if you haven't heard or you haven't been on the Founders Webinar in the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I just want to remind you that payroll direct deposit is here. You can get paid fast. It's hassle-free. It doesn't cost you anything. And all you've got to do is go into your business center, put in your account number and your routing information, and then we will send you over a deposit. As soon as you see that deposit in your bank account, then you're going to need to identify that deposit, put it back into the tool that you have in your Renatus Business Center. So when you give us that amount as confirmation that, in fact, our systems are linked together and they work, then we'll be able to set you up for weekly direct deposit. So please help us out in that area. Get your teams to help us out, and let's get you enrolled. Now, this last weekend, we knocked off another regional training, and it was a barn burner. Oh my goodness! Honestly, this was one of the best I've ever been to because of the amazing speakers that were brought in for the Salt Lake City Regional. It was a phenomenal event. I mean, I spoke. Scott Rowe was here. We got to hear from some of the local leaders, which was, it's always phenomenal when we get time with them. John O'Neill was hosting the event and acting as MC for most of the weekend. We had Woody Woodward and Gary Lee Price. It was just an all-star cast with unbelievable content. I mean, again, what a powerful event. Those individuals who attended, I know their lives will be changed forever because I know mine was. It was affected in such a deeply positive way that you just can't let that go. It helps you to become more of the person you're looking to be. Well, this weekend I'm going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, November 15th, November 14th and the 15th, and we've got, again, a fantastic event planned down there. Both Scott and Nancy Rowe are coming down to Atlanta, Georgia. Woody Woodward's going to be there. I'm going to be there. You got Rob Lett hosting the event and making great things happen. It's going to be a wonderful experience for those folks down there in the great Southwest, or Southeast, I should say. I would encourage everybody to come and join us. I mean, really, come on down. If you've got the opportunity to drive or to hop on a plane, this will be well worth the time and the effort. As a matter of fact, I had an individual at the Thursday night opportunity presentation in Salt Lake. He came up to me and he thanked me for you know, the opportunity and so forth. And my first question, of course, was to him, am I going to see you this weekend? And he said, well, you know, you're going to see me on Friday, but I can't be there on Saturday. I said, what in the world is so important on Saturday that it would keep you from an event that could be so life-changing, so impactful, that your future could positively change forever? And he thought about that for a little bit, and he says, well, I don't know. Maybe I can make some arrangements. I said, listen, don't try. Make the arrangements, and if you come down for Friday and for Saturday, trust me, you will thank me by the time the event is done. Guess what? Saturday afternoon, he came over, shook my hand, and he said, thank you. You were right. Well, that's going to repeat this weekend in Atlanta, Georgia. Then the next weekend, we're going to be down in Scottsdale, Arizona. Then there are no more regional trainings until we bump into 2015, and I'll meet you down in Sacramento, California, January 9th and 10th. That's how things are laid out for the next few weeks here. Well, let's talk about the Renatus Weekly Top 10, shall we? I always love this part of the call. You know it's one of my favorite times. The Renatus Weekly Top 10. The top 10 IMAs, top 10 IMAs. Number 10, Celeste Sechrist. Congratulations to you, Celeste, with 20 guests in attendance at webinars and presentations this last week. The number 9 position, number 9, that's Teresa Hipfield. 22 guests. That's a good number, Teresa. Keep up the good work there. George Kozloff with 22 guests as well, got the tiebreaker, and he took the number 8 position. Then you got number 7. Well, that goes out to J.C. Williams, 25 guests. Congratulations, J.C. In the number, oh, hang on, my clicker's not working. There we go. Number 6 position. Number 6, that's Jeremy Chris with 25 guests. He's got the tiebreaker over J.C. Wendy Bullock's not going to be outdone. She got the tiebreaker over the other 2 gentlemen there, and she's grabbed the number 5 spot. Puts her into the top 5 this week. How about this one? Michael and Susan Humanis, number 4 with 26 guests at webinars and presentations. And then in the number 3 position, you got Jefferson Summers, 27 guests. Congratulations, Jefferson. Good to see you, you know, holding firm in that spot. How about this one? Number 2, that's Mr. Richard Stock. Richard Stock, tearing it up, setting the example for his team with 29 guests in attendance. And then in the number 1 position, number 1, Devin Haley, 32 guests. Man, that's fantastic, Devin. I love to see you putting those numbers up on the board and to see great things taking place out there around the country in the Renatus community. Well, let's talk about the top 10 event hosts, shall we? Well, you know, it looks like I forgot to set my animation, so we're going to go backwards this week, and I'm just going to show you what we've got. The number 10 position, we got Michael Huggins, who broke in there from Denver, Colorado. That's right, Michael Huggins, who lives in Salt Lake, decided to build a team in Denver, and he's already got himself a number 10 spot. The number 9 position, you got Dr. Gary Lawrence out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Number 8, Raul Campos, Salt Lake City, Utah. Always in the top 10. Nice job, Raul. Loretta and Perrin Wetzel jumped into the number 7 slot here out in Chicago, Illinois. Rob Lett, Atlanta, Georgia. What do you bet that Rob is going to climb a few points this week as we have the regional training out there this weekend? I have no doubt he's going to be knocking on the door of number 1 if he plays his cards right. Number 5, that's J.C. Williams. J.C. Williams and his team. James Lease and the Sacramento team, well, they're in the number 4 position this week. Hugh Zaretsky taking number 3 and doing a bang-up job out there in New York City. And then we've got Mr. Richard Stock, number 2 this last week with the event taking place in Salt Lake. But out in front, you know, week in and week out, that would be Scott and Nancy Rowe, Mr. Bob Tierney, and the Chicago, Illinois team. So I want to say congratulations to all of our top 10 event hosts and to the teams that support them, because trust me, without the teams to support them, the event hosts wouldn't be on the board. Well, that brings us to a powerful opportunity to meet one of our success stories in Renatus, an individual who is doing some fantastic things. Matter of fact, it was interesting because we went to dinner on Saturday night after the event was all finished up, and there were 21 of us at the table, 21 individuals at the dinner table that night, and I believe about 16 of them were on this gentleman's team. He's doing a fantastic job building an organization, making some great things happen. He's branched out from Salt Lake City. Now he's attacking the Denver, Colorado market. His name is Mr. Michael Huggins, and I am so proud of him that I wanted him to come out here and share his story with everyone here on the Founders Webinar. So, Michael, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Imagine that. Technology's working for us tonight. Well, buddy,
Beautiful.
come on out and introduce yourself to the Renatus community.
All right. Appreciate the opportunity, Bob. Definitely an honor and a privilege. Hello, Renatus Nation. I'm glad to be here sharing my story. And I got to tell you, I love Renatus. Renatus and Bob Snyder, and especially Richard Stock, have changed my life completely over the last 4 years. So got to give a big shout out to them for what they do and the shining example that they are. And then, of course, the local team here, you know, when I was having my struggles, and they were helping push me forward, so I got to thank all of them. But I very first started into real estate. Actually kind of an interesting story. I went to a technical college, and I got an associate's degree in automotive and diesel technology, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be the best auto technician the world's ever seen. I'm going to make all the money, and it's going to be awesome. And that was in 2008 when I graduated. And if you guys remember, the car industry crunch, cash for clunkers, that whole thing completely crumbled in on itself. My fantastic job right out of college was nowhere to be found. And I ended up working two very glorious, let me tell you, jobs. One was at Jiffy Lube, and one was at Sears Auto Center. And I did that for 2 years straight just so I could pay back my student loans. And I was such a financial mess at that time that one night after paying, you know, my student loans, I went back and looked at the balance, and just because of interest, over the year I had paid $7,000, but I only went down $1,000 because of interest, and I realized that I had no financial IQ, and I could not see myself doing this another year. So I stayed up late one night, and I watched an infomercial, a guru guy, bought his book. 2 weeks later, his sales team is calling me every other day, trying to get me to sign up for this and that. And finally, I said, you know what, whatever. If this will change my situation, sign me up. So I spent $10,000 on a coaching program, and I just went at it, and after a year, nothing had happened. But I did see a little teeny tiny ad in the newspaper, teeny tiny, like less than 1 inch by 1 inch. I can't believe I actually spotted it. But it said, real estate investor seeks trainee. And I called it, and I got invited down to an event, and there were 4 guests and a speaker, and it was Raul that was the speaker. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. It's a little group of investors. I totally want to do this. This is what I was missing. So I was actually already sold on whatever was happening before I even saw the product or the program. I was already sold. And so I watched the presentation, and I go back home to my girlfriend. I'm like, hey, you know all that money we were saving up to buy a house? Well, guess what? We're buying education instead. And she just looked at me like, have you been abducted by aliens or something? Like, this is not right. What are you doing? And I was like, no, this is totally going to work. You got to check it out. So I brought her and her mom and her brother and a bunch of friends to our next intensive. And that intensive had all 10 people in it. And that's what got me going. I was like, wow, so I can invite people down while I'm learning real estate. And so, well, it was crazy. While I'm working at Jiffy Lube, I'm taking extra bathroom breaks to make my marketing calls and my real estate calls. And my coworkers are like, are you okay? You spend a lot of time in the bathroom. And he's, you know, I'm making excuses here and there. I can't let them know I'm building a business on the side, or no more bathroom breaks for me. So I spent the next 12 months working 2 full-time jobs, and I just begged and pleaded to get Thursday nights off from my second job so I could get to the meetings. And then luckily I had Richard Stock on my team who would run the follow-ups for me because I'm busy all the rest of the days. So in the middle of the night, I'd go and put out bandit signs. And in the first year, I put out about 3,000 bandit signs, and I ended up getting about 1,000 leads. And our mentors say, count the first 100 as practice, but really it's probably the first 500 were practice for me because I was terrible on the phone. But after the first year, I got certified, and I put a couple thousand in my pocket, and I also did a real estate deal. I did a short sale, and that one deal paid me more than my whole year working one job. So I quit that job. The next month, finished another short sale, and quit the second job. And I've been doing real estate full-time ever since. I'm now on my 15th deal. And for those of you who know John O'Neill, we've partnered up on one fix and flip, and now just 2 weeks ago we closed on a raw land development deal, which I'm really, really excited about. We're going to take the team out there in 2 weeks and show all the new students and the whole team what we got going on, and man, that's going to be awesome. And so over the years, just plugging along and coming to these intensives, helping set up, it's just been a blast to be a part of this. One awesome thing that I did have is I brought my mom to the second intensive. I was like, hey Mom, come check out what I'm doing. I'm doing this new thing. And I got 100% support, and so I'm super grateful for that too. But it's just been a blast. The people I've been able to hang out with, the people that we've been able to introduce to this system, the homeowners we've been able to help with in the transactions, man, it has just been a ton of fun. And now, as of 5 weeks ago, we are in the Denver market. One of the IMAs that I've worked closely with over the years moved out there, and so now we got a little base over there. So every week we play cash flow, we show the Renatus Epic Plan, and introduce people on, hey, this is how we've changed our lives. We're inviting you, and we're just picking up momentum. It's a beautiful thing. The training and the support that the Salt Lake team has is what's been able to keep the IMAs going. So while I'm over there, the team is still running great. People have stepped in to replace what I did, and I'm super grateful for that. And I'm really excited for everyone that lives in Colorado and Denver to meet up and build this thing over there. This is the coolest thing ever. And 4 years ago, the level of frustration that I had with, feeling like I fell for this student loan scam into college, and I was considering going back to school, going deeper into debt just so I wouldn't have to pay it, and I honestly was absolutely 100% frustrated to the point where I could not sleep. And so finding that ad and calling on it and showing up and what it's led to has absolutely been a blessing. So I just got to say thank you, Mr. Bob Snyder, for your support, your guidance, and believing in me when we first met, and everything that you continue to do.
Well, Michael, thank you. Thank you for being our featured story tonight and coming out here and sharing your words of wisdom with everybody. I just love to hear your story because I know where you came from, and I just am thrilled with where you're at today, and it's just getting better. I really believe that your organization is just starting to catch momentum, and as it takes off, it's going to have a compounding effect that's going to bless your life and their life for many years to come. So keep it up, my friend.
You got it. Thank you so much for your help.
You betcha. Well, hey, now it's time for us to transition on over to the featured training of the week. And let me tell you, we have one of the best that's going to be with us this evening, teaching us and training us how to get to yes. This is one of our top income earners. He is a past #1 income earner, as a Chairman's Award winner a couple of years back. And he's leading and guiding a team here in Salt Lake City to great heights. He was the individual who, with his team, organized this last weekend's Salt Lake City regional training. And let me tell you, after coming off the heels of that, I can't wait to just be able to kick back and listen to him give the training of training this evening. He is our friend, a Founders Advisory Board member, a top income earner, a great leader, and a fantastic trainer. So take copious notes as you listen to one of the best, and that's none other than Mr. Richard Stock. So Richard, come on out here, my friend.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Bob. And then if I could have you hand the controllers over to me, that would be great. You know, I'm absolutely ecstatic to be able to be on this call tonight. And, you know, the reason why is because of the event that we just came off of this last weekend. Earlier, Bob was talking about the intensives and the power of the intensive, the lining up the things that we have. And, you know, as I look at this last weekend, I honestly believe it's not because of what I did, but it's because of what Bob's put together. When we had Scott Rowe come in, we had a power-packed regional here. You know, Bob, our team, as I was talking to him earlier tonight, said, you know, Friday morning, we had a good turnout. Friday afternoon, we had more people. Saturday morning, we had more people than we did Friday night. When we ended the day on Saturday, we had the most people in the room that day. And, you know, it's because of you and what you've been able to put together. And a lot of the things I've been able to cover and be able to accomplish is because of the training that I want to be able to help and teach and train on tonight. You know, when I first started down this business, when I first started working with Bob, it's hard to believe that was 9.5 years ago. I was in the mortgage industry, and I was doing very well doing mortgages. However, I knew I was in a dead-end road, a dead-end job. I wasn't going to be able to go anywhere. They're like, yeah, Richard, you're doing a great job. You're a top producer. We want to, you know, put you as a manager. Well, the management opportunities I had was go to Great Falls, Montana, go to Helena, Montana, go to these other areas where the offices, while they're struggling, work a lot harder and take a cut in pay. I just said, you know, I can't do that. And that's when my younger brother, Kendall, of all individuals, introduced me to what Bob had put together then. And when I first saw it, I'm like, you know, I'm okay. I don't need this. But then he showed it to me again. I started understanding it a little more. And when I got started, I struggled for 8 months. I was living in Salt Lake City. We were traveling to Southern California every other weekend. 8 months, $8,000 out of my pocket. I finally got certified. I don't say that to make you depressed or to feel bad. But there was something that happened at that 7 to 8 month mark that completely switched how I did things. And without really knowing the name of it 9 years ago, it was off of a book and off of a sales theory or system called question-based selling. And what I had been trying to do was use, you know, close-ended questions, yes, no, responses and answers. But it's when I realized what we're going to be able to teach and train on tonight, that's when my business took off. I remember one of my mentors at that time was hopped in the car just on John Wayne Airport. We were driving to our event. He looked in the rearview mirror and was asking everybody how many people they had committed to coming that weekend. And everyone's like, well, I got 15 people, I got 20 people, I got 18 people. He looked at me and he said, how many do you have? And I said, 0. And he looked me in the eye, you know, from the front of the car to the back. Part of my French when I say this, but he said, what the hell are you doing? Everyone else is having success. Why are you struggling? Remember, there were 8 people in the minivan, and everyone just kind of looking at me. And I said, well, all I know is I'm supposed to be here this weekend. I said, guys, I need help. And they started teaching me something that's involved to what we do now with question-based selling. That weekend, that was on Wednesday, or on Thursday when we flew in, Friday, Saturday, I had 10 people there. And not only did I get certified, I put $21,000 in my pocket off of that event. Then I went on to be able to make over $100,000 multiple times in a month with my brother Kendall. And that has propelled us to where we are at now. And this is what I learned about question-based selling and one of the things that I love about it. And it says that this is going to work for me. I'm trying to click through it. Is it showing on here? There it is right there. There is a difference between questions and objections. Make sure you handle each one properly so you don't turn a simple question into a difficult objection. There's a difference between a question and an objection. And one of the things when I first started out, I was like, please don't ask me questions, please, because I don't know the answer. And I was afraid that they were rejecting me. Well, what I started realizing was this, that a question that they ask just brings you closer to a yes. The next yes you can get brings you closer to a sale. The next yes, closer, closer, and closer. And so that's when I started learning and understanding the question-based selling and how question-based selling works and the importance and how everything is based off of that. So next thing I want to do is, this is some new data that came out. It says this. This is from Thomas Fried, the author of Sell Yourself First and Question-Based Selling. He said, he talks about how people over the last 5 to 10 years have become very curious and skeptical of sales because of what happened in the economy. He said, besides that, the other things that happen is he says customers don't want a salesperson, and write this down. They want someone with the following intangibles. We can't go to someone and say, hey, will you pull trust out of your backpack? Hey, will you pull credibility? Will you pull respect out of the backpack? These are intangibles that we have to have. He said they want individuals with trust, credibility, confidence, capability, humility, passion, respect, helpfulness, responsiveness, and attitude. The intangibles that we have to have. He says salespeople can no longer count on their products to differentiate them. They have to count on themselves and the intangibles. Now, when we think about sales and what we do with Renatus and the incredible program Bob has put together, we can, show the difference between us and our competitors. If we do really have any competitors, because now, starting January 1st, we're the only ones that, as long as people are in good standing with the company and the lifetime of the website, people are going to have access to the education for as long as it's around. We have things where we can differentiate ourselves from others. However, some people are like, here's just another real estate company. We have to be able to sell ourselves. And then he says this, are you perceived to add value or not? If there's no value, there's no sale. We aren't adding value to their life, we're going to have a hard time with sales. He said when we bring those intangibles, we have a breath of fresh air. And it brings your message to life. That's one of the best things that not only the regional trainings that have happened over the last month, but the regional trainings that are going to be happening here over the next 6 to 8 weeks. This brings life. It brings new breath and the new life to the group and the community if we share the message correctly. But yet we have to ask relevant questions. Your prospects will perceive greater value, and this brings more credibility to you. Instead of just asking a question to ask a question, make sure that question has a purpose. then you'll be able to get their permission to ask difficult questions, and they will open up. As soon as our guests start opening up to us, the walls go down, the skepticism goes away, the wallet comes out, and then 2 weeks later, you have a direct deposit going into your bank account. But we have to ask the right questions. Credibility is the basis for every question that we ask. Every question we're asking is bringing more credibility to what we have. And this is the basis of question-based selling. It is the right to ask the hard questions in a way that's very effective and a way that is very efficient. It gets them engaged. When our clients are engaged, they are answering yes. Yes, they're giving us the right answers. They're opening up, they're sharing their thoughts, their feelings. They're saying yes. And one thing that we know is this: when people are engaged, productivity goes up 240%. That's not a typo. It's not 24%. 240% when individuals are engaged with what we're doing. I'm going to strongly recommend you go buy the book, Question-Based Selling. To go and buy the book, Sell Yourself First. Because that's what people buy, is your credibility, your passion, your enthusiasm for what we do. Now, as we talked about question-based selling, there is this. It is not an ironclad formula. It works, but you know what? Not everyone is going to say yes. And in 20 years of being in sales, I've never met or seen one formula where someone says yes all the time. That's a 100% close rate. But for me, I started learning this 9 years ago. But 9 years ago this month, I was able to get my first commission checks from Bob. 9 years ago this month. And now as I look at what it's done for a novice, and now getting paychecks 8 times a month, I contributed to this with the question-based selling. Then, more of an art form, it's not an equation. There is no right or wrong, there is only progress. Salespeople must find ways to improve our probability of success and decrease the risk of failure. So this is what I do. And this is what anybody can do across the country. It doesn't matter if you're putting them on a 15-minute, one of Scott's 15-minute calls, whether you're putting on one of Scott's webinars, whether you're putting them on one of Bob Tierney's team calls or James Lee's. It doesn't matter mine, whatever it is. If we are able to talk to people and get them committed to attending an event, whatever event that is. And we've told them they're going to learn how, they're going to be hearing from 6 individuals who are kicking butt and taking names in real estate, and they're kicking butt and taking names running their own business. Or they're going to be coming to a casual event, and this is what they're going to be learning. Whatever we prepare them for, they go, and whatever they're expecting to see, they see it. Your relationship and the trust becomes stronger. The next event they go to, that trust becomes stronger. Those barriers start to drop. It's because we're asking the right questions. We're getting their approval. They are saying yes. They are saying yes. They are saying yes. Eventually, it is going to get to a point where a sales decision has to be made. Are they moving forward with us and getting the education or not? Now, with some people, that's in a matter of one night, 3 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. What's important to remember, though, is this. If they're coming to events, they are getting closer to the decision to getting an Extreme Plus combo. Every event they're coming to, it gets them closer to the purchase. What we do with question-based selling, there's really only one thing that I look at with it, is we are able to send out what we call single pin series. We're sending out little fillers. We're asking questions. They're responding yes. See what they respond to. And I love this question right here. Every time I call my prospect, I want to respect them and their time. The majority of IMAs, you know what, we're busy. Some of us have the wonderful opportunity that this is our income, this is our livelihood now. Some individuals are still going through the process and getting money saved up to be able to make this their full-time career. However, I always ask them, did I catch you at a bad time? That's a very basic question. Did I catch you at a bad time? Over the last year, I've probably read that phrase in sales books and magazines probably 20 times. Now, did I catch you at a good time? No one ever catches anybody at a good time. Did I catch you at a bad time? And then give permission to ask them a couple questions. Now, once we do that, they answer, well, yes, of course. Yeah, you got me at a good time. What's up? Now we have the ability to proceed and go down the sales process and go down the sales funnel at that time. With the question-based selling, we get positive responses. By taking the time to get the positive responses, we can have the success that we want to have. And that's why I love this from the books, like I mentioned, with Thomas Freeze, suggests that we do this. Did I catch you at a bad time? Very few people will say, yes, you come at a bad time. They're going to say, no, it's a good time. What's up? And then if they do say it's a bad time, we can ask them when would be a better time. This, like I mentioned, allows the sales process to continue. By taking, as we ask them, did I catch you at a bad time? It is going to create the curiosity. Now, as we create the curiosity, this is what we know as we're prospecting, as we're taking them from event to an event. With the question-based selling, there's a couple of things that we can use, a couple of techniques to become more effective. One that we have, being able to be proactive in the questions that we are asking, glimpses of value as we are talking to them, newness of exclusivity, then last one, leveraging momentum. First one here, don't underestimate the power of simple declarative statements or pointed questions such as these. Guess what? Did you know? How do you feel about that? How do you feel knowing that in the next 30 to 60 days you could have an extra $10, $20, $30,000 in your bank account? That wouldn't interest you, would it? They're going to be like, well, yeah, it would. Why is he asking me these questions? We're getting them to think. We're starting to show them the value that Bob has been able to put together with Renatus. Here's some examples as we create value. Say, what if I could show you how to get all the money you would ever need to invest in real estate? That wouldn't interest you, would it? What are people going to say? No. The question-based selling allows people to say yes, take it from yes to yes to yes. The more yeses they say, the closer we are getting to that sale. Next one that we have, we can help you learn all the new rules of the game and how you could walk through that process. That wouldn't interest you, would it? We could show you the new rules of the game and how to play by those rules. That wouldn't interest you, would it? Are we creating value with that? Yes. Are we creating curiosity? Yes. As we create that, they become more engaged. The more engaged they become, the more they want to be a part of what we do. In this exclusivity, our briefings, our webinars, our calls are by invitation only and not open to the public. And I'm allowed to invite a few guests. Would you like to attend as one of my guests? By invitation only? Wow. When you get something in the mail and it's by invitation only, it's exclusive. People think, well, man, my friend can't come, but man, if I can come, invitation only, it makes them feel better, makes them feel like they're a part of something elite, makes them feel like they're a part of something special, and guess what? being a part of Renatus, being a part of the things that Bob has put together, guess what? It is very special. Because we're the only company that teaches people how to go from being an employee, self-employed, to being able to run their own business, being able to invest in real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, because of what Bob's put together, we're better than anybody out there. But we can have the best program, we can have the best education, and we do have all that. The best trainers, the best CEO, some of the most loving, caring individuals running this company. But if we're a jerk to them, to our prospects, if we don't take the time to follow up and get to know them through this process, it doesn't matter how great it is, we just become another one of those companies. That's why, you know, hey, if we could show you how to get all the money to invest in real estate, that wouldn't interest you, would it? If we could show you the new rules of the game and how to play by those rules, that wouldn't interest you, would it? Well, of course it would interest me. Perfect. Our event, our phone call, whatever, it's by invitation only. Now they're like, whew, they're going to answer my questions. Now it's an invitation-only event, something invitation exclusive. People are going to want to get started. Okay, and then invite a few people. Would you like to be my guest? Majority of the time, they're going to say yes, and now we start creating and leveraging momentum. We need to edify somebody. We can edify. We find out, you know what, they're a truck driver. They were working at Jiffy Lube. They were a general contractor. You know, they worked, you know, for the state in the jails and the prisons. They worked in all these different areas. Now relate a story about someone else in your local community, about someone else that is across the country. Hey, you know what? John, I'd like to be able to introduce you to my friend, you know, Michael. 3 years ago, he was working at Jiffy Lube just like you. Now, he is hugely successful with what we are doing and is still growing. On Thursday night, I could introduce him to you. Over the last 4 years, he's been able to offer his real estate transactions and offer running his own business. You know, he's been able to make, you know, $400,000, $300,000, $80,000, whatever that number is. Because 3 years ago, he made a decision just like you. For the next 3 years, you can have an extra $100,000 in your bank account. Would that interest you? Of course, people are going to say yes to that. That is why I love the question-based selling. It takes here's another one. Hey, Bob, we're talking to a neighbor. We're talking to a friend. I just closed on a purchase of my 6th home in 8 months, and I'm looking for someone who would be interested in doing the same. Hey, you wouldn't know anybody who might be interested, would you? That creates the curiosity. That creates the thing that we need to do. This is why I love question-based selling. It's constantly creating that curiosity. The more curiosity we can get, the more engaged they become. The possibility of them becoming in our community goes from lower to higher. What percentage is that? I don't know. But this is what I do know. With the follow-ups, with the things that we do, as I've used the question-based selling, my guess to orders in the system, that ratio is extremely high because I got to know the individuals over the process, through the calls, through the cash flow events, through the house tours, through all the different things that we do. Now, as we ask simple questions, as we follow by activity, we can help build a relationship. And so what we do is that we'll send them an email about our event. Then I will call them the next day to make sure they received that email. And then I don't know why, but a lot of the books are saying at the end, ask them, does that sound fair? Is that fair? Is that okay? They are going to say yes. As they go through this process, they are used to saying yes. So many times, they're going to be like, well, of course you can call me tomorrow to make sure I got the email. And then what do we have to do? We have to send the email. Now we need to make sure that they got the email that we send them about that event, or the text message, whatever your form of communication is with your clients. This helps as we go through the question-based selling, starts breaking down the questions, the things that they have. Now as they've gone through it, eventually we're going to have to come to a time where they've seen all the wonderful things that have happened. They've seen the phenomenal education. They've seen everything that Bob has put together. Now comes a time that everyone has to come to, and that's the time of the decision. Do I get started, yes or no? One of the things when I got started with Renata, Bob told me there were 3 things I had to do to become successful. At that time, I was living in my in-laws' basement apartment, over $350,000 in consumer debt. I didn't know if my car was going to be towed or if it was the neighbor's car being towed. I was tired of individuals coming up and knocking on my in-laws' door up top and asking for me, and my in-laws had to say, no, he's downstairs. They'd come down. The man would serve me papers because I was getting sued for a $10 credit card payment because I couldn't afford it. That was a terrible situation to be in. When I got started with Renata, ladies and gentlemen, I had just lost a home. I lost one of my rentals. I was down. I had no confidence. I had no belief in myself. Why my wife even still gave me a vote of confidence at that time, I don't know, except for it was a blessing from above. Well, Bob shared with me what he was doing and going to be coming out with Renatus. He said, Richard, I know the situation you're in. I know it's difficult. I know it's hard. But there's 3 things that if you can do, you can have success. 3 things. Number 1, Richard, you have to have a good mentor. It's like I've been through the highs, I've had the lows, I've seen people go through it. That's the type of mentor I wanted, not just a mentor who had gone through the highs. He said, number 2, Richard, you have to change what's in between your ears. It's like you have to start doing personal development. You have to get out, you have to start doing something a little different. Turn off the radio. Turn off the music. Create your car and make it a university on wheels and switch what's up there. He said the 3rd thing you have to do is you have to get out and work. Get out and work. He said, I can help with the first 2. I can be a mentor. We have the systems. We have everything in place. There's a book you can read. Go out and read it. We can take care of the first 2. The last one, it comes down to work. And one of the things I've realized is I've talked to individuals. One of the best things I think about our community, and it was full force at the award ceremony. It was full force at every single break that we had. We have more people showing up to our regional. And I'm sure it's the same across the country. We've all had the highs. We've all had the lows. We've had to overcome things. Some people think that's a weakness. I think it's a phenomenal strength because we can relate to the people sitting across the table from us. In our local communities, they can relate to us. We aren't a company that's just always had this high and positive thing. So now as we're sitting across the table, however the follow-ups are being done, webinar format, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter. Because the individuals that are doing the follow-ups have the ability to start breaking down those barriers. We've been getting the yeses all along the way. We're now having a follow-up. The reason individuals come to a follow-up is because they want a reason to say yes. Help me find the money and I'm in. They don't come down to the follow-up and say, hey, I had nothing better with my time, I'm showing up. When I remembered I had to do one of my first follow-ups, I was scared to death. I didn't know how to do it. They want me to follow up. I didn't know what to do. Then I realized there's only 4 obstacles that keep people from investing: knowledge, money, time, and fear. Bob's put a system together to overcome all 4 of those obstacles. If I just answer those questions, they will get started. And so when we do the follow-up, that's what it is. We continue to use the question-based selling. The best part is at this point we've already built that relationship with trust, or what a lot of people sometimes call BRT. That trust is built. And so now what I do is I sit down and I start talking about with the people. I ask them what they would do if money was not an obstacle. What would they do with their kids? What would they do with their time? What charity, what this, what that would they go out and do? I have them start dreaming. And then I basically kind of do an outline how with Renatus, through running their own businesses and investing in real estate, how whether it's $5,000, $10,000, whatever they want coming in every single month, how that can happen. Then I say, okay, now comes the hard part. What questions do you have? You're here because you want something more. What questions do you have? Because one of the mistakes I used to do when I did follow-ups is I would go back over exactly what they saw the night before. Well, they might not have questions about marketing right now. They might not have questions about the education. All they want is questions about the community. Well, if that's all they want, questions about the community, just like one of the first slides that I put up, the difference between questions and objections. Make sure you handle each one properly so you don't turn a question into a difficult objection. If people aren't asking questions about the properties people are doing, or they aren't asking questions about the income opportunity, then all we're doing, this is what I do, I just answer the questions that they have. If they don't bring it up, I don't bring it up at that time. And for me, that's made a significant difference. If people have questions about the education, guess what I do? I log into my back office. I show them the classes. I play the classes. I fast forward. I rewind. I show them how easy it is to download the textbook. I show them how easy it is to go from one section to another question. I make it very simple. I only answer questions that they have. I don't want to bring any other objection in. If they aren't asking me about the compensation plan, I will say this though. The marketing, the sales side of the business, does that interest you? They say, no, right now it doesn't. Guess what? I let it go at that point. Once the 7-day rescission period is over, then I will explain more of the comp plan to them. Or they don't have questions about this, I'm not going to bring it up. Now, what I have found is kind of the top couple questions that as I ask IMAs, what are people asking you? What are the obstacles? What are the questions they're asking you during a follow-up? One of the ones that I guess a lot of our students get a lot is this. Is this multi-level marketing? I'm sure you guys have heard that. And this is what I have our students respond with. Why? You like multi-level marketing? If they say no, that's fine. Well, it just depends. Are you buying a split level or are you buying a rambler? Depends on how many levels it is. Not multi-level marketing. If someone says, yes, I love multi-level marketing, you're absolutely going to love our compensation plan. So that no matter how they respond, we have a question to it. So do you like multi-level marketing? No, I hate it. Well, real estate's real estate. Now, if you're buying, you know, a split level, I guess you got 2 levels. If you're buying a Rambler, you have 1 level. I love it. Then you're absolutely going to love our comp plan. Remember when I first started, this one came up. Is what you're doing legal? Am I going to get in trouble? You know, over the last couple of years, you know, I know individuals who got in trouble. You know what? That's a great question. But ask yourself this. With over 20 real estate investors put their reputation on the line and teach with this program, if it wasn't, if they're teaching, they're giving their endorsement to it, why would Mark Kohler put his legal practice, his accounting firm on the line to teach for us? Go look them up. Go research them. Go look at their credibility. Well, why should I join at the extreme combo level? Well, we recommend you join at the extreme combo level because it's in your best interest. You get the highest level of education with the longest redemption. Also, if you intend to do the marketing, it's the easiest certification. They're interested in the comp plan, we show them the compensation plan. Right now, they have the redemption period for 2 years, starting January 1st. As long as they're in good standing with the company, as long as the website is up, they have lifetime access to the website. Well, why would I want to get started with you guys instead of going to one of the gurus or the networking groups? Well, that's a good question. We're the only company that has a complete 2-year real estate education structure that teaches people using the ISD process. And then I'll explain the ISD process and what that is. We are the only real estate education company that gives you 45 to 70% of the cost if you refer a friend by the education. That wouldn't interest you, would it? Another question that comes up. Well, how many properties do you own? None yet. I just got started. But the real question is, can you see how you can get educated and build your real estate portfolio with Renatus in our community? I've been with this group, you know, for a month. This is what I've learned. This is what I've implemented. So let me introduce you to Scott. Let me introduce you to Nancy. Let me introduce you to Phil. Let me introduce you to Mary. They've just gone through the same education that you and I have the opportunity to go through. Well, do I have to sell anything? Do you like selling? No matter what they respond to, say, great, you're going to really love this program. We don't require you to sell anything to become a real estate investor. How serious are you at becoming a real estate investor? We're able to turn around and set the appointment. Then, once we've got over, those are just a couple of the questions that people have sometimes during follow-ups. That's what I could think of. Then when it comes down to finding the money, I'll ask them, so, are there any other questions that you have? Very simple. So are there any other questions you have? Nope, that's it. Let me ask you the hard question then. Are you going to do you want to get started at Extreme Plus Combo or Extreme Plus Combo? Well, what did you do? Well, I got Extreme Plus Combo. Well, I guess that's what I better do then, right? Yes, it is. Do you know how you're going to pay for that? Well, I don't. Can you help me find the funds? You know what? I absolutely can. Are you sure you don't have any other questions before I help you find the funds? Nope, I'm good. Then, on the regional training, we did a training where there were 14 ways to get funds without going through UGA, without going through the Get Funded Online Now. With those two, that gives us 16 ways. 16 ways to get funds. We then show them how they can get the funds. But it starts off by asking the simple questions. It starts off by asking, questions make them curious. Questions to be able to assist them in getting glimpses of the value, the exclusivity, the momentum. But so much of what we do, whether we're talking on the phone or whether we're in person, it's the intangibles that we have to work on. People don't want to do business with people they can't trust. The intangibles, trust, credibility, confidence, humility, passion, respect, responsiveness, attitude, helpfulness. Ladies and gentlemen, when we continue to be able to demonstrate and show that as a community across Grenada's nation, we're going to even have greater success going forward. It's not anything that the Founders Advisory Board has put together. It's what our mentor, our founder, our visionary of this company has put together. We were at our regional training this last weekend. We did the exercise with Gary and Lisa Price. And something that stuck in my mind, and I've thought about a lot since then, was our founder and our CEO in a ball of clay, doing an outline of the United States, doing an outline of South America. We are so blessed to be able to have an individual who is already set, but wants to give back and make a significant difference in the world. That's why I stand behind Bob. That's why I stand behind our Founders Advisory Board, because I can promise you this: Bob will only keep this company going in the right direction. Bob loves us and cares about us more than sometimes we care about ourselves. He's the one that's put this together. And I honestly believe it's our responsibility to go back and be able to go out and help more people, to be able to show Bob how much we appreciate him and how much we love him. One of the ways that I've been able to have the success is going through the question-based selling, asking simple questions to get the yes, to have them open up, drop the barriers, pull out their credit card. In 2 weeks, you get paid. Bob, we love you. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything you have put together. And with that, I'll turn the call back over to you.
Richard, thank you. You are so kind. I mean, very kind, and I appreciate that. I'm just glad you came out here and shared this amazing content with everybody this evening, because I know we got folks all across the nation taking notes and ready to implement the question-based selling strategies that you shared with them tonight. And sometimes it's the simple things that make all the difference. And what you shared were simple concepts that, if repeated over time, are going to bring big, big changes to people's business. I really appreciate you, my friend, for coming out here on the Founders Webinar and making it such a powerful evening. And for the rest of you that got to enjoy this amazing training, all I can say is good night and God bless.